In today's video, I'm going to show you how I structure and build ClickUp for another agency. And in this case, I've actually prepared a flow of how I build and think and process when I build out ClickUp. So everything from end to end, and I'm going to put you some general information about the client so you can get an overview of how I think about and kind of the structure for these types of clients. So in this case, it's going to be a marketing SaaS. So a B2B SaaS accounts, so they market other SaaS companies. The current MRR is quite big, 650. I mean, ARR, it's like 7M, which is quite big, right? So it's a bigger company. They have more revenue, and overall, they have like sort of a big team. So we are 16 people. We are 7 marketers, 5 sales, 2 project managers, and then 2 designers, right? And then of course maybe we have the owner and so on. But yeah, we have the team. Main services is LinkedIn lead generation, also some paid ads, but also of course some SEO and content. Average lifetime client is quite good. We have them roughly for 10 months. So I get a bit higher than industry standards when it comes to marketing agencies, but I think it's good to show you how you also build for longer term clients. Retainer is super high. Obviously, there are B2B SaaS companies, so they can earn a lot of money. In this case, it's 21K per client. And yeah, they currently manage 80 active campaigns for, of course, 28 clients. So it's roughly 3 campaigns per each client, if that makes sense. Now, qualified lead to call conversions, something just fun to include, is about 40%. So if they have a call, of course, they can see if they're qualified, and that lands roughly at 45%. In this case, they want the specifics of a project management system and a CRM in one. So I'm going to show you how to build both of the systems in one video. I'm also going to share the template after I've done building most of the stuff in the YouTube below. So you're going to have full end-to-end template of everything and how you can copy paste this and build this on your own for your own marketing agency. And of course, just make it more specific to you. If you now sell for SaaS companies, I guess lucky you. But yeah, in short, let's go into ClickUp. Of course, if you haven't signed up for ClickUp, just use the link below and you can kind of sign up for free and use the test account for now. You don't have to pay for the platform to actually start using it. So just use the free tier, and yeah, that's more than enough to start. So the first thing I do, I always create a space, and the space I always call the company name. So in this case, the company was called Vivid SaaS. I'm just going to copy this. Always include the client name. Logos you can add if you want. I always add, of course, the client logo, but in this case, I don't have a logo, so I'm just going to use the V, right? If you now copy paste this and to your own agency, we're going to use templates, right? So the only thing you have to do if you decide to copy paste this template, which I build you for like live for you today, just import it through here and you'll have the whole template up and running, right? In this case, it's a Vivid SaaS. I want a darker logo, and yeah, continue. I never actually run with the marketing teams, I never run with the project management, and I never run with ClickUp Dev. I always just do default view and build everything yourself because I can just quite quickly make it for a marketing team when more specific on how I want to run it, right? So in this case, I will have to Vivid SaaS, darker, continue, and then create space, right? And that would be your first space. And remember, they wanted CRM and project management in one. So that's what we have to build from here. And the first thing I'm going to start with is with actually the client list. In this case, I'm going to actually call them CRM. For one, I think it just, for like compass like this, I think CRM makes more sense. CRM, and then we can have one for project management or just Workspace. I think project management makes more sense here, right? Project management. So those will be the hierarchies. We will get hierarchies. We have one for CRM and one for project management, and that's kind of folder view. So in this CRM, I want to have one list called clients. I want to have one list called leads. I want to have one list called this. And that's the hierarchy I'm going to run with today. For like bigger clients, in this case, they have a ticket size of, I think it was 21K. So if you have like bigger ticket sizes, I think per client, right? So 21K per client, I think this is definitely a good shout for you. So we have roughly bigger clients. We have, I think it was 28 clients in total. So we have 28 clients, yes. So in this case, let's structure it by leads first. I like to always make leads yellow. I like to have a, let's see if I can make something, if a font logo here. Let's, I guess, use the, for active clients, let's just call it person, and let's make it a checked one, right, with the check mark. This one, and let's make it green. And these I just want, let's just do a book, if that's the case, book like this, and then just make it white or whatever, right? Leads are potential clients, and this will be one list for them. Clients are the active clients, can also be churn clients in one list, can be both, of course, and the third one being deals. Now, for the project management space, I'm probably going to call one list internal for like operation stuff, so not like client fulfillment, but more operation side. In this case, what we have more, we have LinkedIn lead generation, paid ad, and SEO content. So in this case, let's do LinkedIn lead generation, or let's just call it LinkedIn. Let's call the second one paid marketing, be a good shout in my opinion. And the third one, let's call it just SEO, right? And those are the three things that they deliver. I always, when it's teams like above 10 and so on, I like to keep it separated. So one team will have LinkedIn, one team will have the paid marketing, because usually each team has their own employees, right? So a couple of guys are experts in SEO, and usually the people who have experts or are experts in SEO are not experts in the LinkedIn content. And that's why I separate by list, because the employees will vary for each person. So, but if you're a smaller team, like less than 5 people, usually there will be like one list, because you as a team only work within one space, right? Because if you're like 3 employees, then chances are that you all do like SEO or specialize in everything. But as you scale, you start to go operate with more teams. Like I work with a 50-person company at the moment, and they have like each department to do, let's say SEO, is like a company on its own, right? When it's like bigger, more enterprise clients. So those are the fields. Like you can add more stuff if you want to with the lists and so on, but the thing I always say, of course, there won't be an SEO list. Website, I think, is a good one. Or planet, not plain. World. Okay, so there's nothing here which I can use. Anyways, we don't have to worry about the logos at the moment. We can just we only need SEO, paid marketing, and LinkedIn. Like if you're starting out or building with ClickUp and you're not an expert at it yet, I don't recommend adding more fields than this. Keep it simple, keep it plain. We don't want to overwhelm people, especially not when we're starting out. So you can add more complex stuff, you can add a bunch of more stuff. Just do it once you've actually used the system for a while. I think just getting familiar with ClickUp helps you a ton, and without like overcomplicating stuff. So internal, these are the fields. So let's start off with the CRM fields. In this case, I like to first off create a relationship board between the this is going to be the deals. So deals, and I want to select the list of deals, right? That's the first thing. I know Monday has a similar feature, but it's not more native, of course. I'm going to build a similar thing here. Deals, and the second one will be another relationship, and that's between the I think this is enough for sure. Okay, so first off, let's just write a deal. The company will be myself. Like usually, to keep it simple, let's just create the things are needed. So text, let's just make name. Name is myself, so I'm just going to add myself as a name. Right. Some other important fields for leads is name, is email. I think I have plenty of email address, contact email. My contact email is maxi@welldesigned. What else? Phone number can be important, so I will add that. And one thing I always like to have in almost all project management systems is to have a lead source. And because you just can see, okay, where are majority of my leads coming through, and like how much are they worth? Website, I think, is a great one. I'm just going to say LinkedIn, and I'm going to say paid ads. Those are like the three sources they run with. They don't have more stuff than the paid ads, the LinkedIn as in blue, and the website just as in gray. So at the moment, I don't think we need more. So in this case, I want to create a simple board of when a new lead comes in, I add it through here. Right, so these are potential leads, and one thing which is important here, of course, is to edit statuses. So the first would be custom, and there will be new lead, contacted, which should be yellow, meeting booked, I think it's in blue. Then we have a meeting completed. I think just sending proposals is better. Meeting completed does not give me much more steps. Like sending a proposal is much okay. We have to send a proposal because sometimes if you have meeting completed, that you won't know if it went good or bad, and so on and so on. And if it was like unqualified, we just move them to another list and just put unqualified. Color send proposal, not sending proposal, send proposal, and then proposal, and then I guess no show is a good one to have. Those are like the important parts here. And then done statuses should be paid, and second one should be churned. So paid as in green, churned as in red. So like you go through each client. Okay, new lead, I've contacted him, I have booked a meeting, it was a no-show, I have to reschedule a meeting. And also, like, the thing I always try to do is, instead of writing where they currently are at in here, I write what the next steps are. So if meeting books, like the next steps are is the meeting, contacted, okay, I've contacted, I'm waiting for a response. For like no shows, you might just say like reschedule a meeting. It depends, like both of them works. It's not another word, and I think like they both do their own, and kind of it's enough to have one. Okay, lead source. I got this client from websites, actually, my own website. So this is something I've started implementing more and more, because I think it's a very powerful tool to use. And in this, I want to call it one. The first thing important, of course, is the price of the deal worth. Deal worth, and then I'm gonna put in packages, because I know that a lot of these people, or like out of marketing agencies, have different tiers of marketing. Tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Like let's just call it, for like simplicity's sake, of this case, let's just call it package, and then call it bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. Sure. Bronze as in brown, silver as in silver, gold as in orange maybe, and platinum just as in black. I think that looks nice. These are different tiers of your marketing agency. Like you can put, of course, your own. In this case, I'm just going to call it well designed, because that's me. Package, I have the platinum tier. That means the deal worth is at least 40k per month. I'm gonna assign to myself, and yeah, that's it. Let's just keep it simple. Now, I can always add well assigned through here. And another thing I think is worth adding is the not a drop down in this case, but in the deals, I want to add a field called labels. Labels as in deliverables, I think is a good one, I guess. Then add SEO. Let's add LinkedIn. And let's add, in this case, paid marketing, right? Those are the 3 deliverables they can have. And in this case, because they have the platinum package, they're going to have all the 3 deliverables. So when I now jump on a client, like these, you can add more or less like later down the line, once you have discussed and so on, and kind of sold the client. but I always like to have potential stuff in the deals. So I know that based on my website form, like based on them answering my website form, they are interested in SEO, in paid marketing, and they are interested in another thing, let's say the LinkedIn, right? Based on my former website. Then I can just already input those fields. Sometimes you won't know what they're specifically looking for until after the call. And the deal worth can be like a budget instead, like how much you're willing to spend on marketing each month. So you can just link this here. You can see, okay, I have well assigned, easy peasy, and I have all, okay, looking for SEO, LinkedIn, and that would be like very simple to see. Also, you can see like paid, not paid, and so on later down the line once you have like a bigger system. I want to start off quite small and simple, just to not overwhelm you guys. And a quick and easy automation to add from the get-go is the automation lightning bolt here. Press automate, add automation, and then once a deal has been completed, so once a status changes from any to, in this case, paid, I actually want to move to list, and I want to move this exact client to the, like, either you can move or you can create. It doesn't really matter because it kind of does the same thing either way. So if I create a task in list, it does the same thing. So you can choose like one, like it doesn't really matter. I can just put task name, template. I'm not going to choose any template. I don't think that's important. Status, to do whatever. And you can add like the rest of the stuff you want to. And yeah, I think I'd rather create a task because they can keep all the leads in one space as well. So in this case, if I now assign this to paid, this will also be kept in the lead list, which is quite important to have maybe. And then you can just do another view of lists, and then you can just filter paid out, right? So it doesn't get that cluttered, right? So simple, put this, and this, and you'll have the list of here, right? So when the client is one, it creates a new list in the client folders. You can map the rest here, that's completely up to you. So once you have the lead list, the client list, and the deal list, I feel like this CRM is like more enough to start with. It does not have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be like flawless. You can add more fields here, of course. You can just copy paste the phone numbers. So in this case, just to show you how this works, I don't think it got saved. Leads, clients. So like the phone number, I wonder where that disappeared. Refreshed, I guess that's gone. Fine. Oh, okay, it's because the makes sense. Okay, so let me just move back the contacted, and so to make this very simple and very easy, you can just add like contact phone number. Let me just add email, contact email. You can add name, just like I did. And for the automation part, you can just press here, go back. And you don't have to like manually copy paste the phone number, the email, and so on. This can be done automatically by seeing the status field. So if you see, you can see add set field. In this case, it's going to be name, I think. Change set custom field. This contact phone, you can just put in the value. In this case, it's not possible to value. Maybe you have to do. You may have to actually move task to list, I guess, if you don't want to copy paste other stuff. That is correct. So if I move task to list, so move task to list name, leads, move, okay, move and keep in current list. Let me just see if this actually, okay, you see, change all to do, whatever. And then now, I wonder if all the fields are getting duplicated. I don't think they do, being honest. I think it's going to be, yeah, okay, they do. I did trigger it twice now, but yeah, that's how it works basically. So you can just move the task and keep in the current one. It will remove all the fields automatically. Super nice, right? So once you actually sign a client, you don't have to worry about, okay, I have to move everything, I have to create everything. Like once you've signed, it's signed. And that's the good part. So then you have the internal, like internal stuff you can keep as it is. I just say, hey, weekly Zoom or whatever, right? Weekly Zoom meetings with the team. Internal stuff is just like a punch list for your team and for yourself. You can choose of like stuff that needs to be done. Not like majorly important in my opinion. You can like get away with the LinkedIn and paid social. So here, there are a couple of fields which I think are important. I won't cover like everything in super detail, super specific and go through every single thing because that would take me hours, because they do take me time to build stuff like this. And of course it would be a 10-hour long video. So to keep it like short and sweet, I'm going to create one proper one and then you can copy paste the same for like LinkedIn. So what's important when doing, let's say, the SEO in this case, or the, like, it will work the same way. You just have to like make it relevant to the thing you're delivering with, right? In this case, if you're delivering SEO, important things, well, that's, I guess, website is one definitely important thing to add. Software stack and so on you can add, like SEMrush, or whatever tools you use to now get the SEO data. In this case, let's say the client is well designed. I like to do it as campaigns and subjects. So in this case, create a relationship task. In my opinion, I like to structure it this way. With a relationship task with clients, you can client should call client. And when you're now doing the SEO, you write 5 blog pages. You can like, it depends on how you work as a team, and it truly, like, if you check on the back end, I've built it both ways. And the thing I like, the thing I recommend for clients is to have it this way. So you have client name, and then all the things you have to do for the client, you have in subtasks. So in this case, you press on the here plus button, write 5 blog posts, add 10 backlinks, and so on, right? So you add all the stuff. You just have to like do this once and add it as a client. And everything should be like tied in together with the name, contact phone number, just to make it easy to see and find all this information. So the reason I have it like this is because if you just have write 5 blog posts, add 10 backlinks as a to-do list, it's going to be a lot of to-dos, and it will be just a bit scattered over the place, right? Because imagine having like 5 blog posts, 10 backlinks, weekly report, like, and this is all for the same client. It will be a lot of tasks and just take a lot of unnecessary space. And that's why I like to keep it in one list like this. I just think it's the easiest way of structuring things. So you add all the fields that are relevant to you. I don't think it makes sense to add like and cover everything on that line, like how to actually add the fields and make everything and so on. You just have to add all the text fields. Let's say due date, of course, is an important one. So I will definitely add a due date. It's here somewhere, I think. I guess I've hidden it. So due date, super important. I always assign myself to all tasks or people that's relevant. Priority is important. Website, of course, is important. Right, we do need the website and so on. So try to just make it as simple as possible, but yet very effective. And I think that's the way of approaching things here, which is like the best way. So in this case, you do the same for paid marketing and LinkedIn. But to make this much more efficient, we're going to add a couple of views. I like having timelines. I like having, in this case, calendars. Kanban views are a big one, which I don't use a lot, but I know it's a very bigger, like popular for a lot of teams. So you can just move tasks like this, like super easy. If you don't like to work in a list. Calendars, super important. So if I put due date in 2 days, we'll have it on the calendar. Okay, well assigned, have due date in 2 days, or subtask in this case. Let's say here, you just see on your own, okay, write 5 blog posts, and you will see, okay, for who? Well, for well assigned. Super simple, right? And if you have a lot of employees and teams and you're a bigger team, like 20, 25, 30, 10, even 10 employees, always make sure to filter by yourself and no one else. So you will only see tasks that are assigned to you and nothing else. Like you don't want tasks that are not relevant to you, and of course just not relevant overall, right? So keep it simple, keep only tasks. Same way in lists. If you're not like a project manager, just keep it as tasks assigned to you and nothing else, because you don't have to see CNS tasks who you don't even work with, right? Sometimes you do though. Sometimes you can of course assign multiple people under a board. So we have the calendar board. Like you can add a bunch of stuff. I won't cover everything in specific because I think it would be a bit too long, but dashboards I think are super important when building ClickUp boards. You can just use the basic dashboard. You can change some stuff you want, like you have the tasks due overdue. I think are super useful, and I use that all the time. You can change, move around, change structure, places, move things to the right order and so on. If you want, I usually just keep this. Like this I usually don't need. Workload status, like okay, who's having what, progress, whatever, usually not needed. Completed, not needed. Completed this week, I think like that's a thing, like a fun thing to have, just to see, okay, we can look back on the week and see how many things have you done this week, and you just feel a bit proud of yourself. You see like, okay, and if you just assign this to yourself and see, okay, if this is assigned to me, I like me mode is a great one thing to have. So important thing to cover when building boards like this, always use me mode. Like me mode is like once you have of course launched it to your team, me mode is essentially you only see tasks that are assigned to you, and I think it's super useful. Like truly it's a game changer because you don't have to filter anything, you don't have to do anything manually. You just put on me mode and the rest will be sorted. So super useful, highly recommend using that. And in this case, do the same thing, create the views here, duplicate the boards. But one thing I haven't mentioned, which I do think is quite important, I'm not sure if you can search like this. So in this case, fields worth mentioning, which can be useful, of course, phone number, email, websites, deal values, labels. So if they have like different packages, so 5 backlinks, 10 backlinks, 50 backlinks, like you pick the drop downs. Let's say drop down said backlinks 15 or 5, 10, 20, and 50. So if they have the platinum package, they have 50. If they have the gold, 20. If they have the silver, 10, and bronze, 5. Like so, if you see, okay, write backlinks, you will always, or like add backlinks, you will always say, okay, this client has the bronze package. He only needs 5 backlinks. And you can write it here if you want, or you can just have it in the posts. Or you can just write if you like are a bit more team oriented and your employees know, okay, if like they have 5 backlinks, they know that means they have the bronze package. Then you can just add the package name instead if you want to, without being too technical. Sometimes they can have lots of reports, 5 backlinks, 5 job like blog posts, and let's say 20 whatever else. But instead you can just have, okay, package, they have bronze, that means 5 backlinks, and it always means 10 blog posts, no matter what, right? Which means you don't have to have as many fields. But other than that, I think keeping it simple, like we don't want to add too much stuff, we want to make it complicated, like we just want to keep it this simple, and there's options to add it. And as I said, the most important option is the default to me mode. So you will always see tasks only assigned to you without thinking about anything else. So all other tasks will be hidden that are not relevant to you. Trust me, super useful for your team, and I highly recommend adding it overall. As like this is very useful. So that's how I like to structure boards. I won't go in like too much detail and kind of cover everything because, as I said, it's going to take me a lot of time, and obviously ClickUp takes a lot of time to build. But in short, I like if they need CRM, leads, clients, deals. Also depending on how big the sales cycle is. Sometimes they have hundreds of leads. They maybe have to like find another way to make it optimal, right? Then internal stuff, LinkedIn, paid marketing, SEO. And if you're a bigger team, of course, maybe you'll add a list called for project managers, which like they have their own stuff to take care of, like hiring, or you're like checking in with clients, weekly reports, meetings. So make sure it's relevant to your team and how your current business works, right? So take it with a grain of salt, or have, like, you can just copy paste it, of course, the whole template. But in generally speaking, I just think having things super easy to build and like super easy to format, like as I said, the less stuff you add, the more simpler it is to work with. And that's something I want to end with, because the more stuff you add, the more things they have to keep track on. And something worth mentioning before I end this off, if you have a bunch of information about the client, someone has to fill out that information as well. And if it's going to be you have to make sure that your employees do fill out everything from end to end. So like the more fields you have, like even though I have some builds here, which I play around with a ton, I think this one is a major one. I have so much information, campaign budget, Twitch impressions, and this can be automatically populated through some automation. I have so much stuff here, which I've added, but the thing is, if you don't have the systems to back it up and build this for yourself, it's going to be a major problem. So make sure to, like, if you have a lot of fields like this, and like build it a certain way, you have to make sure, okay, this gets filled out and this gets done properly. Because a lot of times when I build client builds and add too much stuff, usually most of it does not get used and just left alone. So if you want the system, I'm going to copy a template for you and create just for the structure, and you can kind of fill out these things that are specific to you. And maybe you sell AI automation, maybe you sell like designs for, or branding or whatever, or like logo design or video production. Like the same principle works for all agencies, more or less. You just have to change the naming, change the fields, and add whatever information is important. So if you ever have questions, of course, just contact me. And yeah, you have my email down below and everything. So let me know. And of course, if you have any more suggestions of other videos, just shoot me a comment, and I'm happy to walk you through on ClickUp how to build them, or Monday or whatever, right? I've built with all platforms. So thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.